Hi friends, welcome back to my channel Only Bio. Presenting up the series of the challenging MCQs from Group A 56 to 60, all with explanations in details. I now take you to the first question that relates with the chapter Nervous Coordination, and the question is: the dura mater and the pia mater are collectively known as dash, and your options are A. Meninges, B. Serosa, C. Muscularis, and D. Peritoneum. And the correct answer for this question is A, that is meninges. Please look on the screen so that you'll get to know. Friends, remember meninges are the protective membranes covering the brain as well as the spinal cord. So here you can see the section of the brain, and here these are the meninges. So this particular section is being enlarged here. You can see that dura mater is the outermost, the middle one which is web-like is the arachnoid membrane, and the innermost, which is close to the brain and in case of spinal cord as well, is called as the pia mater. Collectively, these are called as meninges. But do you know that the dura mater is also called as the meninx fibrosa or pachymeninx or tough mother? It is thick, durable membrane which is close to the skull and the vertebrae. However, there's slight difference in case of the arrangement of these meninges around the brain and the spinal cord. And the difference is around the spinal cord, dura mater leaves some space. Okay, matlab above the dura mater, there is small space in case of the vertebral column, and this space is called as the epidural space. This is filled with the adipose tissue as well as the connective tissue, and it is this site where the anesthetic drugs are generally injected. Now, arachnoid membrane is the one which is called as the web-like membrane, and the pia mater is either called as the tender mother, most of the times tender mother, and the pia mater and the arachnoid membrane collectively at times are called as leptomeninges, because the word leptos is a Greek word which means thin. So these are thin meninges. And in the second pic you can see here, it is the difference you can see, that is meningitis. Meningitis is the inflammation of the meninges. Okay, this can happen because of some infections. It is quite a common kind of what you can say medical condition in case of the cerebral pathology. Okay, मतलब ऐसा नहीं कि ये frequently हम सब में होता है. In case of cerebral pathology, this is quite a common thing, and this can happen because of fungal, bacterial, or any viral infection as well. Okay, in the next pic you can, just a moment, let me change the slide. Here it is. So here you can see the three meninges: dura mater, arachnoid, and the pia. Here you can see the bone. Actually, the dura mater itself is also made up of two membranes. The outer membrane is called as the periosteal membrane, and the inner membrane is called as the meningeal membrane. Okay, I hope you have understood this. I take you to the next one. The question relates with the chapter excretion and osmoregulation. I hope you have done this chapter thoroughly. The question is: in the descending limb of the Henle's loop of kidney, which one of the following structures is present? And the option given is A. Cuboidal epithelium, B. Squamous epithelium, C. Ciliated epithelium, and D. Columnar epithelium. And the correct answer for this question is the squamous epithelium. Please look on the screen so that you recollect the structure of the nephron. The nephron, you can see it has a long loop of Henle, right? The long loop of Henle, it is going to be the most important structure because it is the site mainly of osmoregulation, and there is a difference between the descending limb and the ascending limb. अब descending limb जो होता है, I will take the pointer again. Here it is. ये डिसेंडिंग लिम्ब है। ये पूरा का पूरा जो स्ट्रक्चर है दैट इज द लूप ऑफ हेनले, राइट। अब इसका ये जो पहला वाला पार्ट है, द फर्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ द लूप ऑफ हेनले is going to be seen in the renal cortex region, whereas this entire U-shaped region, entire part, okay, is going to be seen in the medulla, of which this part which is entering into the medulla is called as the descending limb. Then from this region onwards, it is called as a hairpin bend. And when it comes out of the medulla so as to enter the cortex again, it is now called as the ascending limb. Friends, you have seen this difference, the structure-wise difference. You can easily observe here that the descending limb is quite thinner as compared to the ascending limb. ये एक main difference है. और इसके अलावा भी एक और difference है. You might have recollected it. That is, the descending limb is permeable to water but impermeable to salts. And the ascending limb is permeable to salts but impermeable to water. Now, many times we wonder कि ऐसा क्यों है कि डिसेंडिंग लिम्ब यहाँ पर आप देख रहे हैं, यहाँ से पानी बाहर जा सकता है पर आयंस नहीं जा सकते, ओके। और असेंडिंग लिम्ब से NaCl यानी कि सॉल्ट आयंस बाहर जा सकते पर यहाँ से पानी बाहर जाते हुए नजर नहीं आता। अब very simple, why is this so? The reason behind it is the descending limb is having a good permeability to water as it has many aquaporins in the cell membranes. I had already mentioned this in one of the other challenging MCQs. Please remember, aquaporins are the transporting proteins which form the channels which help in the movement of the water. But these aquaporins are not many in number in case of the ascending limb, and this is the reason why ascending limb may we don't find water to be oozing out. Okay, so descending limb is permeable to water, but the ascending limb is permeable to salts. The next question is an additional question which can be related up to many more chapters. You can get to know. The question is, patagium of Draco is modification of dash. And the options given are A. Ribs, B. Abdominal skin, C. Both A and B, D. None of these. And the correct answer for this question is C. Both A and B. Please look on the screen for you to understand this. The Draco is nothing but the flying lizard. The genus is Draco. And these flying lizards are well known for their gliding ability. Okay, and this is possible because of the patagial membranes which are supported by elongated thoracic ribs. The attachment of the forelimbs to the patagium suggests that the aerofoil is controlled through the movements of the forelimbs. Okay, single one is patagium, plural is patagia. You can simply say that it is a membranous structure. Okay, the flying lizards, वो जो Draco joke है, these are normally seen in Southeast Asia and Southwest India. So, flying lizards जो है of the genus Draco show this typical feature. Sub lizards में नहीं होता. I know everybody would be worried and thinking about the household lizards flying like this and you yelling at them. So don't worry. Okay. Coming to the next question. The next question relates with the study of animal types, and the question is, in earthworm, major part of the nitrogenous excretory wastes is in the form of dash, and the options given are A. Ammonia, B. Proteins, C. Urea, and D. Uric acid. And the correct answer for this question is urea. Friends, ammonotelic animals are those which release ammonia. But ammonia is highly soluble in water and it requires a large amount of water for its excretion. Ideally, earthworm is both ureotelic and ammonotelic. But majority of the wastes are in the form of urea, and that is the reason why here the correct answer is urea. अगर इस क्वेश्चन में ऑप्शन होता A and C तो दैट वुड हैव बीन द करेक्ट आंसर, बट जबकि यहाँ पर ये ऑप्शन नहीं है, We go by the majority, and the majority of the excretory waste is in the form of urea, because that is the waste which is present when the earthworm is in the soil because of less availability of the water. And also, urea is far less toxic than ammonia. So even though if it is retained in the body for a small or a little longer time as compared to ammonia, it wouldn't have any ill effects on the body. This is the reason why we can say that the earthworm is ureotelic in majority. But ये भी याद रखिएगा, ideally it also releases ammonia when it is found in the aquatic या semi-aquatic kind of a habitat. Aquatic यानी I don't mean कि it's going to be seen floating या swimming in the water. What I mean is in the humid places where plenty of water is available to them. I take it to the next question. The next question relates with the chapter animal tissues, and the question is: ear pinnae contain a hard, flexible structure composed of dash, and the options given are A. Cartilage, B. Connective tissue, C. Bone, and D. Ligament. And the correct answer for this question is A. Cartilage. Ear pinna, you can look on the screen. The ear pinna is a single piece of yellow elastic cartilage which is covered with perichondrium, okay, as well as the skin. Of course, except the lobule in the outer part of the external auditory canal. And it is attached to the side of the skull by ligaments and muscles. And it is supplied by facial nerve. Okay, muscles are not very well developed in case of human beings. That's the reason this pinna is not really that movable. However, this pinna can be helping to catch the sound waves and send them to the ear canal. So, ear canal, is the one which sends the sound waves to the eardrum in turn, and this vibrates and sends the sound waves to the middle ear. So, this is all about it. Please like, comment. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. And if you haven't hit the bell icon, you please hit the bell icon and keep studying with me so that you become a doctor. Thank you.